Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is Tuesday, October the 1st, 2019. And yes, I feel a little on the hot seat at the moment because this one is called The Whirlwinds Are Your Energy. Actually, my energy. Ready to be intentionally directed. Not waiting, but ready to be intentionally directed. And actually, I kind of feel like this is even a more carryover conversation because Lisa and I talked about this once, but that's why I think, BZ, you were nudged to do this again, do this conversation, because you haven't even had a chance to see the conversation that Lisa and I had yesterday about this exact same thing. Although, I have to say, I've felt great today, and
but you don't corner the market on the whirlwind.
No, I get that.
Whirling.
No, that's right. There's lots of whirlwind in the field right now. Yeah, lots and lots and lots. So, So, talk to me about this nudge that you had. I mean, like I said, you didn't know anything about our conversation or what took place for me.
Or did she?
Yeah, or did she?
Well, I haven't been online at all.
No, I mean,
I know.
You didn't have to go online, honey.
48
you were
hours
there. You heard it. You felt it. It's out there.
Well, obviously.
From lots of people actually heard it and felt it.
At least I know I'm not the only one.
It's a timely topic for everyone.
Yes.
That's what makes it so delicious.
Yes. And everyone's metaphor and visual read on the whirlwinds is all going to be different, some similarities, some overlaps, some multiple whirlwinds, kind of whirling a piece of each other around. So the first thing I'll say is that whirlwind is, and this is yours, directed at each of you and me and each other being. So the universal it's your energy. So we're remember we talked about, I forgot what day we talked about this. Sunday? Tuesday? Saturday? Whatever? Yeah. That there's no gap anymore.
Right.
So, and that's not to say that, everybody's stopped thinking about things that they want to create, right?
No.
Or not thinking about things intentionally, but thinking about things that they're, maybe, don't really want to create, but that's what they're doing, right? So in these, I'm trying to think if I can send, because I don't know if it'll work, if I can send that can GIF, put it on the thing. Let's see if I can email it.
Share screen.
Yeah. Well, it's on my phone, so I don't know. Let's see.
Well, email it to yourself.
Yeah, try that.
Well, I don't know if this actually was something that Lisa and I shared, because I think I shared during our conversation in regards to the sewing machine case that I actually, we talked about that, right? In the video?
We didn't put it on the video. It was beforehand.
Oh, it was beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I mean, you're talking about the Saturday video, Sunday video, whatever video.
Right. Well, the next morning, Monday morning, I had some things I needed to do, but I also knew that I had to go to pick this up at around 1:30.
Uh-huh.
And I was in here at my desk, thinking about it and thinking, wow, I wish I could do this a little earlier or something. And the next thing I know, I get a text from the gentleman saying that his offices are being painted, and I was going to have to either meet him in Mooresville, which is, farther away, or we were going to have to do it another day. And I said, well, if you're at your office now, maybe I could come now. And then I thought, wait a minute, are you going to be out of town? And he said, no, I'm just getting ready to go home. And I said, might you mind bringing it by here? So I didn't have to go anywhere. He brought it right to me.
Cool.
So I thought that was, so things really are, no matter, it feels to me, no matter what it is, it's like pretty quick,
Yes.
I think were you able to get it, BZ?
No, it's not. I sent it. I heard it swoosh, but it's not working.
Okay, well, I've got it.
Okay, great.
Okay, hold on. Let me make it big here. It's taking a second. I guess because it's a GIF. Yeah. Either that or it doesn't want to be seen.
Well, talking about this subject and then playing with it in ways that we talk about, it was very empowering for beings, and much to the chagrin of certain other beings.
Oh, yes. I want to share this because I shared it with the two of you prior to this recording, but it actually is kind of part of it, I think, because of what you just said, BZ. So last night before bed, I came in and checked the comment sections, because I hold all the comments for approval. And I got a very long, it's beautiful comment. I highly encourage everyone to go to the Seeing the Unseen, Clarify Your Intentions video and look in the comment section. There was a great comment that actually was supposed to have been an email. The gal said, or the person, I apologize, the person said that they tried to email it 3 times to me and it wouldn't go, which I found very interesting, especially in light of what happened next. So it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. I read through it, I approve it, and I go over to put a response to the person, thanking them for sharing their story. And the comment is gone. Nowhere to be seen. I figured, okay, giving YouTube the benefit of the doubt, I'm thinking it was a very long comment, taking a little more time to process. This morning, not there. This afternoon, earlier this afternoon, not there. I came in here, I did a video appealing to the person that wrote the comment, asking them to resend the comment or to contact me. Damn if that comment wasn't there as soon as I was finished recording. So yes, you're right. I think that was a very important conversation, and one that the ubiquitous they perhaps wasn't exactly prepared for in some sort of way or whatever, but I found that very interesting.
Indeed.
Very interesting.
Okay, well, people are just going to have to imagine it because...
Well, here's the really weird thing. I can share my screen and show a teeny tiny little picture because it did come up. I sent it to myself private message. So let me do that. But for some reason, it will not. I can't get it to come up. So that I find that very interesting. It's right down here in the corner. Can you guys see that? It's so tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't, it will not, it just will not load. I don't understand why.
And it's not gifting, but it's.
Oh, it was on my screen.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, just picture, I don't know if you guys could see it, but just picture a huge tornado over water. That's what that looked like to me.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So I find that highly interesting all the way around.
Yes. So what I was saying, although you're going to have to imagine the pictorial, because I don't know that it'll show on the, I put the phone up to the screen.
Oh, yeah. You can see it.
Yeah, that's better than what I just tried.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's
So,
good.
and it's moving.
Yep.
It is.
You can see it moving too.
And you can see the lightning and
Yep.
yeah. Okay. So anyways,
Well, that just
that's
kind of,
your energy. You are creating the creational force behind that whirlwind. And if you have multiple whirlwinds, that's you too. And if you have one that dissipates and goes away and another one comes up, that's you too. And people are going, what? Okay. Remember we talked a minute ago, I think we did this on camera, right? About the gap being gone.
right.
And so inherent with that is the fact that not only is there no gap in between, there's no delay, there's no slowing down of all that you are that you were putting into the mix. The thing that was there before that may still be there, and you can tell by what color and shape and how pointy and prickly your whirlwinds are you still not paying attention and doing things intentionally with your power? Because you're not small. And if you've looked at any of your whirlwinds lately, and I'm telling you that that's you and your power, you're going, okay. So what does that mean? It means that now is the time to be responsible. Now is the time to stand all into your power. It has been for a long time, but now is really the time because the whirlwind's coming to whirl you around a little. See if you can pay attention. So to intentionally use your creative force. So what's happening is you are constantly and more and with more unbridled and unleashed, and because maybe not you in the shirt, but the rest of you is on it and coming into full sync and full power and full magnificence, full brilliance, full wattage, you get the drift here, right?
Full.
And when you intentionally work with that, now you're taking that creative force that you keep putting out there. Nobody has done anything to you. You keep putting it out there. And so you intentionally direct it and mold it and shape it and use it. Or you got these whirlwinds that you think look that picture I talked about, and you got all sorts of B-rated movie music soundtrack to go with the picture, and cows are flying by, and there goes a cement truck kind of a thing, right? That's you. You're doing that. And when a story or a certain topic that's around a structure or a system or whatever that comes into your field, and you're looking at it and you have a reaction to it that may not be of an intentional focus by your, everybody else disappears, only you matter, directive way, then, bits and pieces and frustrations of that whirlwind will come at you as well, because that's where that's a connection point. That's where your energy, your focus, your reality is meeting that.
Well, when you said that a little bit earlier, I really, again, for whatever the reasons, and I'm sure that it has a lot to do with my own energy, the energy that's, streaming in, and the atmosphere that of just more open ability and the application thereof. It's like I grokked it a little bit better this time than I ever have before. I don't know if that made a lot of sense just then, but I got it. Again, it's sort of that thing where you feel like you got something, and then the next time you feel like you got it a little bit better, or a little bit more, or a little bit deeper,
and specifically, just for clarity, because somebody asked, what you got was this, that you're the whirlwind, you're the energy is creating the whirlwind?
Well, no, that I've always known, but that that as that energy, if it is a whirlwind, your what I left out in that statement was how you meet it. Okay, so take something, whatever, like you said, a story that's presented, right? Mm-hmm. If it is being met in an open-hearted, neutral space, then there's really no whirlwind.
Right, you're just realizing that's creative energy force, and hey, that's mine, and I can move it. Right. But whirlwind in the pictorial is a good image because, there's an awful lot of people who are getting smacked up silly by the whirlwinds, and they don't. And the moment that you go, hey, that's mine. Hey, I'm not small.
Exactly. And I want to say this, and because this is something that really came in very clear for me in the sharing with you, because you haven't seen the conversation that Lisa and I did yesterday in regards to what happened with me and on camera with the three of us on Sunday evening. What I've realized from that time to now is that because of the way I didn't clarify my intentions in the connection, in the interaction that I had. However, when faced with what appeared to be a whirlwind, as I was dealing with another individual, the way I met that whirlwind was completely different from times past. And I might add, I didn't end up as a screaming, crying puddle heap on the floor because of the way it all went down, which wasn't all that one wouldn't consider pleasant. However, again, I'm dealing with another individual whom I know is in that whirlwind, and who I know has not clarified, is not, and doesn't even see the whirlwind as their own energy. Mm-hmm. And so it was a completely different interaction for me than ever in the past. Mm-hmm. And actually, in this moment of now, I'm absolutely realizing and anchoring, I think, the reality of how much and how different, how much I've changed, how different I am in the way I met it, in the way that it affected me, which really, I'm using it like that because it really didn't affect me at all. Because again, in these moments, I'm very clear that the interaction, while in the past would have been perceived as horrible and, reduce mother to tears, so to speak, I'm fully aware has absolutely nothing to do with me, not at all. And there are those who would see that sort of emotional or lack thereof, so to speak, reaction or response, however you would want or need to couch it, as being unloving and cold and all of that, when that is the furthest
It's
thing.
neutrality, frequency neutrality, and unconditional love. That's actually what unconditional love means.
Right.
No
And
conditions on it.
right. And this is where I'm used to.
If you're nice to mom, mom loves you. If you're not nice to mom, mom doesn't love you. Or mom loves you, but she didn't like what you did, so not so much. And
Well, and for me, in this instance, it goes even further than that, in that it has nothing to do with that relationship or anything else.
That's why I like the term neutrality better, because things are presenting, you're experiencing it, you are taking and interacting further with those parts that are serving you. And right now, the way you've given voice here in this conversation is that it's those little bits and pieces were parts that served as a reflection, as a gauging from past encounters like this, that it's not all the same, very different, and there's no shrapnel stuck in you, there's no, right, that kind of thing.
Right, exactly. There's nothing in my field to move forward with as a hurt or any kind of what one might think of as a wound or a trauma or any of that, because it's simply.
And so a couple of people asked some questions. Does this whirlwind and the energy of ours that we're talking about, and it's unique for each person, and some of you have, well, we all do, but I'm just going to keep saying it the way I was going to. So some of you have lots of pent up, in the sense that you've been doing a lot to confine and shrink wrap and constrain the brilliance of who you are, and so it's pent up in the sense that it's spinning off at a faster trajectory than it might otherwise, yet you still at the same time have not become intentional and conscious of that you're not small and that's your energy. So that's answers the first question. The other is that yes, this has to do with interpersonal relationships, it has to do with you yourself relationships, it has to do with just your environment, it has to do with other beings of all sorts of stripes, whether they're planet beings, human beings, animal beings, if they're not incarnate, not embodied beings, different dimensional. It has to do with structures and systems, it has to do with groups and group structures and group systems. So it's everything. And it doesn't, like I said, it can be a structure and a system that may not be right next to you, although it's because of the way you hold it, especially, but in general as well, it's a structure that is intimately tied to you, as in the government or these different things, right? So all of that to say is that this is fabulous. This is just really, really, I'm so glad we're here.
I know.
It's like about friggin' time, but okay, that's just me. Sorry. But It is, and we're here because we've brought us here. Make no mistake about it. We're here because you brought us here. We're here because we have aligned and arranged and opened this up beyond what we, and again, this, I'm kind of mixing linear and not, but what we ever thought we had planned it to be, or we agreed that was a stage that we'd reach it to be. That's, from a linear aspect, incredibly accurate with specificity and particularity. From a multidimensional perspective, it's kind of accurate, but the multidimensional is everything is now, and it takes in the picture. So we'll go with the linear for right this moment, because people are scratching their head like their head hurts already. So why do I say, someone just said, well, why do you say you're thrilled that it's here and it's about time? Because
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. All of a sudden, I'm like, and that's one of the persons that are having the whirlwind whacking them around, because I could feel it the minute you said that. They're like, what? I don't want to be here. So, yeah, sorry. Or at least somebody that I was connecting with, because that's what I got.
Yeah. Well, I did too.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well,
there may be, I think there's more than one, so
must be.
Yeah. This big circle, it's going around. Because, and it's not on everything, you can have what is perceived as a whirlwind, like the picture, right? That we talked about. I just wish I find another one. Some are feeling very much like that is the whirlwinds. But if you took that and you put that in different colors, maybe it was, lighter colors or rainbow colors, or, maybe it was horizontals that are, different things, so that your mind and the groove of when you see a picture like that is, because that really conjures up the cows flying through the sky. And some people, live in places where the cows fly through the sky, and so that's a common, terrifying thing for them. The reason that I say that it's so exciting and so, it's just beyond cosmically delicious, because this is a huge breakthrough, bleed through of energies. It's as if you think of that we've kind of been in an energetic consciousness structural bubble, like, when are they ever going to get it, that, or when is the just us system, or any of those things that you might use, that ever, when are they going to get perp walk, whatever, right? This is it's a tangible, touchable, real example that we've gone beyond that point in the end. It's all energy. And maybe heretofore you kind of believed that, or that was an intellectual exercise, or you thought that was a bunch of hooey. Okay, good. Well, on any of those things, now you're going to have tangible, touchable, realistic, graphic examples of that, moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, every moment of the day, on multiple channels, in multiple aspects. So someone said again, okay, so why is this a good thing? Because it's you who are creating that. So the force and the power and the magnificence and the brilliance and the sheer love and creativity and magnificence and color and finesse and nuance and complexity and just sweet, simple simplicity that you wield is unimaginable to most in the way that they have been living and holding and playing and incorporating all of this in their being. And so it comes out, it may be encountered by you as something very much like that image that I've shown, or maybe just a little bit like that. And I know there's many that not at all. Many can either are right where I am, or beyond that, or can catch glimpses of that, because they have been feeling and honoring and working with and playing with their nudges and all of the things, that communication, that connection, and meeting their soul and doing this. So I'm going to stop there for a minute and just jump over to the spectacularly colored whirlwind for a moment. You can watch an instance of a whirlwind, that may be dark and foreboding and all that kind of stuff, shift in different colors, and how the field is changing at your direction seamlessly right in front of you. Seemingly, it could be an instant, but even, from the course, if you have let's say there's an interaction with somebody and you're playing with this over the course of an hour or two or a day or something. So, and it can be directly within yourself. When you have another being directly involved, unless the other being knows they're not small, or has been holding that as an intellectual exercise, and now they're going, okay, the whirlwinds are here. I gotta get on this, right? But that's why it's so terrific, because people say, well, what are we going to do without money, or what are we going to do without, we got to fix the justices, we got to fix the banks, we got to fix the schools, we got to fix, because hey, who's going to take out the garbage? And what are we going to do without these things? Because, I'm 20 or I'm 50 or I'm 80 or whatever iteration that you are, and this is always the way it's been done. And what are we going to do without cops, or whatever we're going to do without fill in the blank, right? Yeah. This is the way it's always been. Okay, except that you're not small. And the sheer, if you just took a couple drops, in an eyedropper, if you just took a couple drops of the creational force that is you, that is in, using the metaphor or the actual tangible, touchable example of your whirlwind, and you intentionally directed it, that would be like taking these same drops, maybe we'll pick a color.
Blue.
Okay. Electric, gorgeous cerulean blue. And you drop these into that picture, and now it's like this amazing sunset of cerulean blue on a tropical island, and the breezes and the scent on the air and birds you're not familiar with, and these incredible flowers, right? You've changed that. And you can do it with anything and everything. And even if you have something like this that's coming towards you, or that's occurring, or that's because there's other beings involved, or there's a system or structure, you can look at that and you hold that colorization that we just talked about with the drops in there, and that neutrality, and there is just a witnessing. There's just a beholding. There's just an encountering of it. There is no fear. There is no magnetism that's pulling you in and spinning you around. You are beholding it with the amazement and the joy and the confidence and the sheer delight that that's a reflection of your power. And hey, I want to play with it this way. Maybe I want to pull a part of it and make it into a ball, and it's got all of these colors, and I can plant a garden with it, or I can do these different things with it. So to get back to who's going to take out the garbage, this is how we do these things. This is how we invent these things. This is how we pull these things into matter, materialized form. Because why? If what you give voice to matters, because it turns it into matter. And now, because remember, we're not going in a process of the apprenticeship. We're in masteryship. So if you're not an apprentice anymore, you're a masteryship. You're not going to start with lighting the wick on a candle of letting your light come out, because that's not masteryship exercise, right? That's the simple first skill of illumination, right? The sparkle in your eye, or the kiss of warm air on your cheek. But you're in masteryship now. So if you've got this whirlwind coming, you're paying attention, and you're going to decide, I'm not small. That's mine. I guess it's time to do something about it. Not, it'll be cool to see what happens when it shows up, or, wow, I can't wait till so-and-so. You better come back and get this tornado, man, and do something, right? The whirlwind, because it's everyone is an integral part, essential to all of this. And it's an inside job.
Well, something you said just then about that took me back again to my own, because a lot of times folks that are working, like myself, working on self, right? I'm not always conscious enough to direct what my intentions are. No. And I realized that, at least somewhere in the conversation that I was having. But it was the way that I met that, and knowing that, that, I can only do me. I can only do me. I can't do anybody else. I can't, that's, and it's all invitation as well.
Yes. It's not
there was an invitation there to get all whirled up or whatever, and escalate, and what could have been an escalation of events and whatnot. But again, I could feel it. I could sense that this is a choice that I have. I can choose to get all butt hurt and freak out and all those kinds of things over this interaction that obviously wasn't going the way I had hoped, but didn't apparently, like I said, set those intentions. And we even at that, when there's another being involved in an interaction, they have choices too. So it's almost as though, because I am becoming more conscious of my own, how I'm holding my frequency, and in every moment there are choices in those sorts of interactions. So the choice was there to be hurt or to be upset or whatever. Hi, Rose. And I chose not to be. And so, I really, it changed everything for me. I mean, on a really huge level. And I also, this is something else that I noticed for myself in regards to the entire thing, is that I didn't beat myself up afterwards either. No, I didn't set my intentions, but I didn't beat myself up when I realized that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it might not have gone the way I'd hoped, but I didn't beat myself up afterwards. Because really and truly, there's nothing has changed in the fact that I'm completely aware that I have unconditional love. And actually so does he. And I'm aware of that because this is not about me in this moment with that particular interaction. Had nothing to do with me. Even though that being sure wants it to be and claims it is, and all of that, it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to prove it to him. I don't have to say anything. I just have to take care of me in this instance. And I did. And I feel really good about
And
that.
doing that is not commingling, is not creating a whirlwind to commingle with his whirlwind.
Correct. Yeah.
And the only thing that may be fun to play with is, you say, well, didn't go as I had hoped. Maybe I didn't set my intention. Although, since I wasn't in the whole path of how the intention, all that kind of stuff, but it's like one of those things where when you come to the other side of it, or you see how things come out, you can see where the path and the dance moves that each chose and how they danced created the most, a 10 on the from the judges, so to say, and you're the judges, on the dance card, because that orchestration went through. Does that make sense? So sometimes you can see in the moment, oh, I had hoped it would go one way, but I can see I didn't set the intention then, because a hoping is a hanging on to, a hoping is an attachment, but, and so it didn't go the way as I had hoped, but I didn't set the intention and flow with it. Okay. And sometimes you can see fully that right away, or the opposite fully right away. And sometimes, because, and this goes back to the and I use this as a shorthand between all of us, and some who've been playing in these conversations for a while know it, but it's not the telepathy version, right, of what you thought. So does that make sense? So that you may not have quite known how you scripted it yet, you actually are very absolutely, this is a possibility, very absolutely intentionally doing all of these things, right? But you and the shirt is going, well, that didn't work out the way I hoped it would, kind of, right?
Right. Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, because as you were speaking there, I was thinking to myself, yeah, I think the little, like as you say, the person in the shirt, the mommy part of me had hoped it would go differently. However, I think there's a more expanded part of me that thought, that went exactly how it needed to go. Because, mommy also didn't, like I said, in times past, I have freely admitted that I've always been one of those, it's my way or the highway kind of thing. We're all going to toe the line, and we're going to do it this way, and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. And if you say anything other, we're going to have words. We're going to have an issue. Mom's going to get hurt. You're going to be ticked. We're all going to have a problem. And I that's not at all the energy I met any of this with. Even when, like I said, it wasn't going the way the little mommy in the shirt had hoped it would, right? But like, so it was a completely different for me, on all levels, it was a completely different and very beneficial interaction, no matter what happened. Because for me, there were, oh, so many gifts in all of it, in every moment of it. And I suspect that there, although there may not, they may not be realized or unwrapped in the moment, or even in this moment of now for the other being, they're still there.
Absolutely. And I could, even if I wasn't listening to you and picking up and feeling, I could tell you that, but I know for certain unequivocally, because I have an external source that's come here to tell us all that. She doesn't do this very often.
No, I know. This is like the first time that I've seen her be so attentive to us during anything, a recording, a hanging out session.
Talking, by the way.
Say that again, Lisa.
She was looking you square in the eye as you were speaking. It looked like.
Yeah. So it was. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to finish it up by saying that it was very valuable for me and a completely different experience than I've ever had in that specific type of situation before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful kind of a template or a tool for whatever the situations might be, and however things are configured to do them, because you will not have, there's no dearth of whirlwinds. Whether they're striped and shazamily beautiful with sparkles, or pokey with cows flying out of them, coming everybody's way. But Lisa, I wanted to ask you and play with you for a minute, because you have different, you don't have to necessarily talk about the different things, but there are different things going on within you that you're creating, that your power is out there, and actually over the last, more and more on camera at least, you've been kind of going, yeah, I'm not small over here, really acknowledging that and owning that. And so I'm curious, what are you noticing about the worlds, or this whole idea that this power, that's you, that's yours, all those things are yours, and how are you meeting and playing with them? And you can just do it in an obtuse way, or you can be specific.
Okay. Yeah, I'm loving this conversation because I too am meeting it with excitement of my own growth. So now when I have something that maybe even 6 months ago I would consider a tragedy, or something really heavy or emotional, like, okay, well, for instance, sorry, Jasmine, I'm gonna tell a little story about my daughter in love.
Well, this is gonna be I'm excited.
She had a little incident at school, and she's now a very busy young adult who is going to college full time, and she's working a job and a volunteer gig that is now increasing. So she started this last year. She's working with a group of middle schoolers doing some mentoring. And on her way from her classes and her day at school to the middle school, she got pulled over. And it happened right after our conversation. So when she texted me about it, this is was my reaction. Because I saw what you did there. I mean, I can almost feel the whole thing. So anyway, I'm noticing too that I don't feel real, I don't feel like anything's a real tragedy anymore. I'm getting to this point of knowing that everything is a gift for me. And when I approach it with that attitude, I find the gift nearly immediately, and it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the other way, being dragged down the street behind, a thing that's happening in my life is not as fun. And so I have to say that the last even 2 months of my life have gotten so exciting to me. And I'm not going to say that the last 2 months of my life, the most spectacular things have happened to me, because that's not the case at all. But it's about how I'm feeling, and it's about how I'm walking through my day and my life and what's happening. That has made it so joyously delicious. Moment of now. And sometimes I have found myself feeling a little bit like I should dial it back, or I shouldn't show my excitement, because I see others responding in ways that are less than exciting. And that feels really painful to me. Like that literally, just like talking about it, I felt like this lump in my throat, and I can't swallow and I can't breathe proper. So, I don't do that anymore. And it's okay if my glee and my happiness is upsetting to others. I'm okay with it, because they've called a very happy person into their field for some reason. I'm here, and I am. And so I'm just going to continue to be, because it feels so good.
Yes, and a lot of times, first of all, I think it's absolutely beautiful that you thought, no, I'm not going to change that. And bravo on feeling, that constriction and lump in your throat and I can't breathe, and good. And maybe, some people need to pass out a few times before they heed that.
Right.
The other thing too is, which is so often the case, when you described a little bit of what people, when they meet that, they're uncomfortable. But a lot of what we don't realize, their uncomfortableness from those other beings, and actually what it is they may not understand it all, but they're seeing a direct experience and having a direct experience of knowing, of seeing someone who knows they're not small, right? And will not shrink and step back from that. And when they see that, the discomfort, could be pain in some instances, could be masked as annoyance or chagrin or whatever. It from them is because they're not doing that for themselves yet. And so actually, it can sometimes be, you may take it on as that they're directing it at you, they're actually directing it themselves.
Yes. And I'm aware of that because I'm minding my own frequency. I know what's mine and what's right for me, and I'm using my conscious awareness to create my next experience. And so I don't have to worry about what anyone else is doing. Right. And I don't. But I definitely know, also, I want to say this, that I know that by just fiercely being who I am in every moment, whether it's exuberant or sad, whatever that is, just allowing myself to be, is making room and creating space, like you were saying, for others to see it and to feel it. And if I were to shrink back, not only would I not experience it, but I wouldn't help others.
That's right. You'd be doing a serious disservice.
Yes. So actually, by minding my own business and my own, conscious focus and attention, I really am helping everyone around me.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Even if they can't see it, I can see it and know it.
Yes.
And it makes all the difference in the world, because I know, and I'm going to use this example now of my father. I love you, Dad. But, I remember when I was afraid to tell my father how I really felt about the religion and God, and who, it took a long time, let me just say, for me to work up the nerve to tell my father that I will not worship Jehovah because I am God. And I really didn't think, I didn't think I could ever do that. And once I did, that felt so freeing to me, even though that was super hard for him. And it caused something to go on between us that wasn't there before. But because I stayed true to myself, and I continued to love not only myself, but my dad. Like, I didn't require him to change. He didn't now have to believe he was God in order for me to love him, although I would have loved that. But he wasn't there yet. Mm-hmm. So I made the choice to know who I am, and that Dad is really just a part of me too. And I don't know, I just was able to continue to love us both. And now, if you ask my dad who he is, he'll tell you he is God. So what an amazing, exciting, I see now how my steady love for self, just keep going, keep loving myself, keep doing it anyway, even if it was hard, even if it was scary, even if nobody liked what I was saying. In the end, not only did it benefit me, but now others are joining me. So I definitely will not be holding myself back any further.
Good plan. That's a good plan. Hence the whirlwinds. I just wanted to say, to finish up that story, Lisa, is that from my own direct experience of knowing that was a huge gift you gave your dad, because it was about 2 years ago on a group video recording that your dad was on, where he shared that, we were going around the room and people were sharing some lead-off question that I asked, and maybe about what drew them to the thing. And he said, well, my daughter told me that she was God, and that was news, and I had to figure that out. And he followed up, but the paraphrasing the energy was, it was a watershed moment, and it blew the doors open the windows, open the curtains, and in the brilliance of the light that came shining in, he was seeing himself for the very first time. So that was the energy, my energy read on that.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to say here that all of this is very important and very valuable point that you're making there, Lisa, in that I used to, I wouldn't say I too, because you didn't say this, I used to hold it that, if you only knew what I knew, then you would do this or that or the other, right? And that's that whole, some folks call it red pilling too, especially with the corruption and everything, but this really stems to anything and everything. Mm-hmm. Right. And I used to get real triggered behind some of that too. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's changed now for me a lot. And I love what you said there about you don't require that anyone believe anything that you feel for yourself in order to be in relationship.
Yeah.
Now, it may be that the other being in that relationship may require something different, but again,
that has happened to me. Yeah.
and that is a choosing.
Yeah.
Right. But so that's something for me that in the conversations with the two of you that has really, for one thing, helped me. I think we even had a conversation where I finally really grokked that, for one thing. So that's a really important point too, right there. Is it that sort of thing? It took me a long time to get that. It's okay. And quite frankly, in light of my own multidimensionality showing, I really feel like there is no true and false. It's true, 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 all the way around, because of all the different realities that all the different creators are creating.
Right.
I kind of said this to someone today. You think the earth is flat? It is. You think the world is round? It is. And both of those can be true at the same time. And prove me wrong.
Well, because when you're embodying the very thing that you speak of, or something that you're sharing as, that's true for you, because that's how it works. It's true for, every different thing, and there may be overlaps and true for this one and that one, and there may not. But when you're embodying it, you're not selling it.
Right.
There is nothing to sell. In fact, the very idea of selling it or convincing it or showing it or proving it does not exist, because what you feel, what you know, what you embody just is. And in that full state, you own it, trust it, know it, claim it, and it's irrefutable.
Yeah.
But since it's irrefutable to you, you got it.
Yeah.
And whatever any other being is doing is fabulous, because it's any other being, and they're doing it because they choose to do it.
Right.
Perfect.
Well, I guess for me is that I now truly, really grok that it doesn't matter if somebody else gets it or not. See, before I really feel like I was still in that, well, if this is true, then this can't be, because they seem to be at odds, even though it was an intellectual exercise for me at some point, because I was thinking that, okay, yeah, but I didn't grok it all the way. You see what I mean? I can feel.
Using another metaphor we've used before is you're both looking at the same picture. They're looking at the JPEG file and you're looking at the RAW file.
Yeah, it could be. That's what I'm saying. It's no longer necessary for me, where it used to be that if I felt it was a truth, that someone else thought it was a truth too. And that it's not where it used to be like that for me, but it's not now. And I didn't understand. There was something you just said, BZ, a minute ago, and I was like, yeah, that's where I didn't quite get that fully, but now I can feel that it's completely anchored in, and that I not only get it up here, I get it in all of me. It's not just here either. It's all of me. And that feels completely different.
Yes, one is of love and one is of fear. Those are the only two things that are there. Love, fear. And when they meet in the middle, they dissolve into a wholing.
Sacred neutrality.
What'd you say, Lisa? Sacred neutrality? Well, I like that.
Sacred neutrality, yeah.
There's the 3 days of darkness is that, is occurring as all of that in the holy.
Nice.
You referred to that once before, and for some reason, like I said, everything seems to be, for me personally, it's like I'm, and even in some of the concepts that we've spoken on before here tonight, it's like
You can walk all the way around them now and see the whole.
yes, and so I'm wondering if the 3 days of darkness, I mean, because for some reason it's feeling to me like it's
the
like
still
there's
point.
some light at the end of the tunnel, or you know what I mean, like something has illuminated. So I know I'm not speaking, I'm
No, I
not
got you. I got you.
okay.
Well, I think we should play with a different conversation on that one. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
that still point. It's the neutral point,
wow.
which is the
Where everything
pin.
springs forth.
That's right. So it's the pinprick before the Big Bang, and it's the totality of all that goes in for the creation. So hence one of the reasons that we're talking about, because this is where we are, all the whirlwinds, because there is no more gap, and that's your power.
Yeah, I used to look at being triggered as something to avoid. And now I'm like, oh no, if there's something to be triggered, let's go. Let's do it. Let's pull it up and get it out of there. I'm ready to look at it all. Trigger me, please.
Better out than in, yes.
Yes. Yes. Because if the way I'm looking at it now is if it triggers me, it's something in it for me I need to look at. And I want to get to the bottom of all of those things, because the more I do, the more solidly in here, I don't know, it's just the more expansive I even feel. I was telling Lisa, we were doing some errands today, and I almost felt like I was 10 feet tall, striding around. I don't know how to explain it, but very powerful feeling.
Yeah, so that kind of brings up a coming attraction of one of the other ones that came through on the list today is about, like superpowers.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, do either one of you have anything else you'd like to add to this particular energetic envelope? Because boy, I tell you, I think it's packed smack full.
If you feel like it, take those whirlwinds and shape them up and color them up and create them up.
Nice.
Because they're not going away.
No time soon. Well, I want to thank you both for coming and hanging out and talking about this, because I actually feel even, like I said, this is even more anchored in than it was during my conversation with Lisa the other night, or the other day, yesterday. Oh God, I don't even know what day it is now.
I know.
I had to check my calendar. And so if you're watching this on BZ Rieger's channel, please be sure to subscribe if you have not. If you're watching this on Conscious Conversation Central, please subscribe if you have not. And if you haven't, go and do it crosswise, so you give us both subscriptions, and hit that notification bell to be notified of the uploads. And because Lisa and I are going to be going live a whole lot more often. I know I say it in every video because it really is true. And so thanks, ladies. And I guess we'll see everybody next time. Oh yeah, there'll be ways to get in touch with all of us in the show more section. So love you guys.
Love you too. Thank you.
Love you.
Till next time. Much love.